watching News 2 Houston, where local news comes first.
Well, one of the crucial area of the city that is feeling the brunt of this storm is, of course, as we've spoken about all day, the medical center.
It has been virtually crippled by floodwater. News 2 Houston's Steve Mark is live at the medical center with more now. Steve?
Crippled is absolutely right. Most of the hospitals here at the medical center are operating only on backup power or backup battery. Some of the hospitals here have no power whatsoever. For the patients who are still here, who have not been evacuated, it is now night 2 of darkness. At St. Luke's Hospital, darkness. 10% of the patients transferred to neighboring Texas Children's Hospital. Food and water have to be brought in for the rest, while those patients are cared for by backup battery power. And still, there is no remedy for no telephones.
We would ask that patients, families, and friends, please don't call the hospital to find out how your loved one is. Everybody is well taken care of. I can tell you that. I've been around the whole hospital checking on things. Everybody's under great control. We will call you if there's a problem. But right now, we need our phones for emergency procedures. Please don't call.
The scene at the opposite end of the medical center, a game of very urgent beat the clock. Flooding in the basement of Memorial Hermann sends streams from the hospital, setting off a constant flow of life flight helicopters, ferrying evacuated patients to other hospitals with power. McGregor Street, bordering Hermann, blocked off to become a makeshift helipad.
It's a disaster, and it's a terrible situation. We've got to plan where this doesn't ever happen again.
Instead of bringing patients in, we're trying to triage out the most critical to our other system hospitals and community hospitals.
Started this morning, the crack of dawn, flying around. It's just, there's people all over the place on the roofs of houses, and, there's people everywhere.
The community responds with help, lining the hospital with food, water, and support. As night falls, still well over 100 patients at Hermann, including a dozen in intensive care. Those patients being treated under the light of flashlights, prompting an unprecedented alliance with neighboring Ben Taub Hospital, which is operating with about 20% power efficiency itself, but operating nonetheless.
The resulting storm crippled virtually every hospital in the Texas Medical Center, some of them very badly. It crippled the 2 comprehensive emergency centers that care for complex medical problems, that take care of strokes, heart attacks, and trauma, representing those critical conditions, to the point that both of us were limping.
I've worked in the Texas Medical Center for 25 years, 12 years at Texas Children's Hospital. We've never seen anything like this, where basically, 60% of the Texas Medical Center was, without power, even auxiliary power.
In the midst of this controlled chaos and very justifiable concern, this bit of relief, 2-day-old Aaron Kirkendall gets to leave the medical center only after just a few tense moments for Mom and Dad.
But the staff was great. I mean, they were very supportive the whole time, and a lot of them have been working over 24 hours at this point. So we were just thinking, doctor, come let us go home. That was the only thing on my mind, because it's really hot. In St. Luke's, where we were, they didn't have any power at all, really. You couldn't adjust the bed. They had no water, no telephones, no air conditioning. So we were just ready to go.
Just about 5:30 this evening, when that little baby was going home for the first time, power, full power, was restored at Texas Children's Hospital. It's the only hospital in the district right now with full power. As we mentioned earlier, everybody else is either with partial power or no power. The question was asked earlier this evening, what if you have elective surgery scheduled at some of these hospitals? What should you do? Well, we know already at Hermann and at St. Luke's, perhaps, you should plan on not having those surgeries. The other hospitals, you'll have to check on a hospital-by-hospital basis. The operating room here at Hermann is not functional at all. At least we know that. Finally, we were asked earlier in the day from Hermann to ask for food, water, batteries. That is still going on right now here at Hermann, and no doubt it will continue as we face another night of uncertainty. We're live at the medical center. I'm Steve Mark.
Great news reporting, Steve.
Charles Murphy not only saw home run history made, he made the clutch catch at the historic ball and got so excited that he got a little tongue-tied. News to Houston, Steve Mark joins us live now from Minimon Field with that story. Steve?
He did indeed. Barry Bonds makes baseball history. The fan from the Heights, a 38-year-old real estate agent who caught the ball, has some fame himself. In the latter stages of last night's game, fans in Section 255, figuring Barry Bonds might not get another shot at home run number 70, started to clear out. That's when Charles Murphy made his move.
If you're sitting there and somebody down the line moves and you think, well, maybe he'll hit here, then they're gone. They left with the bomb in the 7th and 8th. It's an empty seat. So I just moved a little over where there was less people going to give you elbow room, and I was a bomb.
Top of the 9th, Bonds up for the last time of the series, and the pitch from Wilfredo Rodriguez suddenly heads Murphy's way.
And thank God my son had bought his glove. I knew Bonds was coming up in the 9th, and I said, son, if he hits a good one and it's coming to us, I think I stand a better chance of catching it than you do. And I said, would you mind if I use the mitt? He goes, no, Dad, please do. You catch better than I would.
Bonds makes history. Murphy has the history-making ball, now worth big bucks. Murphy makes news nationwide, not only for catching the ball, but for his description of the event shortly afterward.
Felt the ball hit my hand, to pull it out, the rush of energy, the miraculous rush of estrogen or whatever it was, I'll tell you.
And tonight at 5, Murphy's explanation today of that now infamous comment, and who's lining up to buy that famous ball. We're live at Enron Field. I'm Steve Mark.
Synagogue services happening all over the Houston area as people try to cope and come to grips with what happened today. News to Houston, Steve Mark is in Clear Lake, where he has been covering some of those services for us this evening. Steve?
As so many Houstonians know, the Clear Lake area is a melting pot for the best and the brightest, not just from this country, but from all over the world. In 1997, an Air Force commander, a colonel from Israel, moved to Clear Lake for a very, very important work. And tonight, two nations, and especially this community, are shaken. A tightly woven religious community in shock over the jolting episode in the Texas skies.
It's an enormous shock, an enormous heartbreak.
Alain Ramon, a military icon in Israel, one of the country's most decorated Air Force pilots, then a national hero for becoming Israel's first astronaut. Ramon and his family deeply rooted at Congregation Sha'ar HaShalom, where so many members are co-workers at NASA.
This community lives and I hate to use the word, dies on NASA and its support services.
So close were some of the congregants to the Ramon family, a number were invited to the launch 16 days ago. Abby Eliezer tutors Ramon's children.
It's horrible.
What kind of a man was Mr. Reed? What kind of a person?
The best. The best. If you knew him, you liked him.
He was a very gentle man. He was also a very humble man. He didn't seek the publicity of the press. He didn't seek notoriety. If you did not know that he was an astronaut, if you did not know that he was the first astronaut of the state of Israel, you would just think he was a very nice guy who happened to have an Israeli accent.
An international figure. Tonight, the ambassador from Israel to the U.S. in Houston scheduled to meet with the family. 3 weeks from tonight, Ramon's son, Asaph, is scheduled to celebrate his bar mitzvah in the Jewish faith that is symbolic for reaching one's adulthood. And young Asaph tonight learns a very adult lesson very early, way too early in his life, the pain of losing his father. We're live in Clear Lake. I'm Steve Mark. We've had quite a unique project, and I'm hoping we can get Mr. President over here to accept a check. And thanks very much. In just a moment, out of the relief effort came a very, very special opportunity by three people you know well, Roger Clemens, Tracy McGrady, and David Carr. They offered to sign photographs of themselves, and we put it together in one collector's item, a very unique collector's item that's been on the TriStar Productions website and has raised quite a bit of money. This is my good friend Jeff Rosenberg from TriStar, and he has a very special check to present to the President.
Well, on behalf of my team at TriStar Productions, I want to present this check for $15,000 for this incredible effort with Roger Clemens, Tracy McGrady, and David Carr for all the victims. We're so honored to be able to work with you. president, and all the great people out there.
And I know how crazy you are about all three of those guys and all the sports teams here in town.
A unique way to do it. You guys found a niche there. It's wonderful. Thank you so much.